Hey guys, it's Miss A. Today our lesson is going to cover how to convert between decimals and percents. Convert is just a fancy word that means change. So we're going to be changing decimals to percents, and we're also going to change percents into decimals. So let's get started. It says converting between decimals and percents requires either multiplying or dividing by 100. That magic number is 100 because remember that percentages are always compared to the number 100. They're always out of 100. When we're converting a decimal into a percent, I like to call it DP. We're going to multiply by 100, or the same exact thing as multiplying by 100 is moving the decimal 2 places to the right. Okay, so to change a decimal into a percent, we're going to DP because it's decimal percent, and we're going to either multiply by 100 or we're going to move the decimal 2 places to the right. And we'll see what that looks like down here with our examples. To convert a percent into a decimal, I call that PD. We're going to divide by 100, or we're going to move the decimal 2 places to the left. Now, the reason we divide here is because if you remember a percent, so for example, let's say we have 12%. If I were to write that as a fraction, it would be 12 over 100. And one thing we're going to see over the next couple days is that this fraction bar literally means to divide. So you could read this as 12 divided by 100. That's why we divide to convert a percent into a decimal. And like I said, it's the same thing as moving the decimal 2 places to the left. So DP goes to the right, decimal percent, and PD goes to the left 2 times. So let's do some examples. Number 1 is 15%. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is what am I doing? Am I doing DP or am I doing PD? So this is a percent, and I'm making it into a decimal. So I'm doing the PD method. So remember, go back up here, percent to a decimal, PD moves to the left. The more you write these, the DP to the right and PD to the left, the more you write them, the easier it's going to be to remember. Alright, so now we have to move the decimal 2 places to the left, but there's no decimal to move here. So we have to place the decimal in this number that's not going to change the value of the number 15. So if I place the decimal here in the front, it's going to become 15 hundredths, not 15. If I place it in the middle, it's going to become 1.5 or 1 5/10, which is not 15. But if I place it here in the back, it still is the number 15. So anytime you have a whole number, simply placing the decimal at the end makes it a decimal, but it still makes it the equivalent value of 15. So now that we have our decimal placed, now we can move it 2 times to the left. And we're going to move it 2 place values. So we're going to go once, twice, this way, and it ends up right here. Notice how I went in between one number at a time. Now my decimal becomes 0.15. And don't forget, we can put a placeholder to get 15 hundredths. All right, number 2, we got 0.25. So this is a decimal, and we're going to a percent. So decimal to percent, DP goes to the right. My students here in school know that Dr. Pepper is one of my favorite my favorite drinks. So I always say DP, Dr. Pepper, goes to the right because it's the right choice. All right, so now we have 0.25. We need to move the decimal 2 places to the right. There is a decimal to move, so I'm just going to put 0.25. And now I'm going to move it 2 places to the right. Once, twice, goes this way, and it ends up right here in the back. 25 point, but we don't need that. We're changing it into a percent, so all I have to do is make a percent out of it. All right, number 3, we have 0.5. Again, we're starting with a decimal, and we're changing it into a percent. So DP is the right choice, so we're going to move to the right 2 times. So I have 0.5, I have a decimal, so 0.5 going to move it 2 places to the right, 1 place value, 2 place value, so it ends up here. But we notice we have this little loop with no number. So all I'm going to do is put a placeholder of 0. And now I have 50 point, but we're making it into percent. So put your percent sign at the end. All right, number 4. We have 3.5%. So just because this is a decimal does not make it a decimal. It still is a percent. So we're doing P to D, percent to a decimal, and PD moves to the left. But the difference between this one and the one we saw up here was up here there was no decimal, but down here we have a decimal. So we're actually going to begin where that decimal is. I don't need to place one. So start here and then move 2 times to the left, once, twice, ends up here. And again, we notice there's a loop with no number, so we put a 0. So 0.035 placeholder, and we do not need a percent because we're making it into a decimal. All right, let's do a couple more, and then I'm going to have y'all practice on your own. Pause the video and practice on your own. We'll do these together. All right, we have 5%. So we have percent to a decimal. So PD goes to the left. 5% does not have a decimal, so I'm going to place the decimal in the back. And now I can move it 2 times to the left. Once, twice. Put a placeholder. There's my new decimal. So get 0.05. Don't forget your placeholder. And you're done. 125%. So this is a percent that I'm converting into a decimal. So PD goes to the left. Here for this percent there is no decimal, so I have to place the decimal so I can move it. So I want to keep it 125 by putting the decimal at the back. And now I can move it 2 places to the left. Once, twice, ends up here. So now I have 1.25 or 1 and 2500. Number 7. 0.375. This is a decimal. We're changing it into a percent. So DP is the right choice, so we move to the right. I have a decimal, 0.375. We're going to move that decimal 2 places to the right. And it ends up here, getting me 37.5%. Don't forget when you're changing into a percent, don't forget to put that percent sign with it. All right, and then number 8 is a little bit tricky because we have this little bar right here. Anytime you see this bar, it means that the number underneath it, or numbers, depending on what it is, the number is going to keep repeating. So this decimal is not 2.3. This decimal is actually 2.33333. It's going to keep on going forever. All right, so we need to know that when we're changing it into a percent. So this is decimal to a percent. DP is the right choice, so we move to the right. I have 2.333. I'll just write those. Now I'm going to move my decimal 2 places to the right. So from here, because I already have a decimal, move it once, twice, goes right here. So you get 233.3. Now don't forget this is repeating. So you put a repeating symbol, and I'm running out of space. You need to put a percent with it. This is a special type of decimal that you don't see very often in 6th grade, but you will see it occasionally. So that bar means that it's repeating, only the 3, so it's really 2.33333. And then now to convert that to a percent, you take your decimal, move it twice. It ends up after this 3, so you have 233.3, and only this 3 is repeating because it's after the decimal. The whole numbers don't repeat, just the decimal part. All right, so that's how we convert decimals into percents and percents into decimals. Remember these 2 things right here. DP is the right choice, so you move to the right twice. PD moves to the left twice. All right, now I'm going to give you a few examples. I want you to write these down on your own. Pause the video, solve them on your own, and then we'll unpause and we'll go over them together. So the first one is 12.5%. You can do these in your composition book. You can do them on the back. If you're in class with me, you can do them on the back of this paper if you would like. It's totally up to you. 12.5% is the first one. Then we've got 0.875, 0.7, and the last one is 3%. So I want you to pause the video, write these down, pause the video, and do these on your own, and then we'll check them together. So go ahead and pause it. I'll wait. All right, now that you're back, let's go ahead and convert these, see if you got them correct. So the first one was 12.5%. Even though it had a decimal, it is a percent, so we're doing percent to a decimal. PD goes to the left. So you did recognize there was already a decimal here, so all you had to do was take that decimal that was given to you and move it 2 places to the left. So starting here, once, twice, ends up in the front, and you get 0.125. Don't forget your place value of 0, and you are done. All right, the next one was 0.875. So this was a decimal that we were changing into a percent. So this is DP, the right choice, so we move to the right 2 times. So it already gives me a decimal, 0.875. We're going to move it 2 times to the right, once, twice. Gets me 87.5%, because we were converting it into a percent. 0.7 was a decimal that we were converting into a percent, so DP is the right choice. So we have 0.7 that you had to move 2 places to the right, once, twice. It ends up here. Don't forget there's a loop with no number, so add a 0 to make 70%. And the last one was 3%. So this was a decimal, this was a percent that we were converting into a decimal. So PD goes to the left twice. So we do not have a decimal here, so we had to place the decimal to make it still 3. So we put the decimal at the back. Whole numbers, decimals always go at the end, just like a period, the end of a sentence. And we're going to move it 2 times to the left. So once, twice. Decimal is now in the front. Put your placeholder to get 0.03. And that's it. That is how we convert decimals into percents. Feel free to go back and watch this video as many times as you need. Pause. Do whatever you need to. I'm here if y'all need any more help. Have a good day. Bye, guys.